As you can see, I'm repping that BMT.
BMT.
The black man tried.
I watch my family unravel. With no man, I bought a ticket just to travel. That's the plan, to treat us just like cattle. Understand, you hear that snake tail rattle. In the boat sinking, holding no paddle. In the matrix, wanna treat us like chattel. Where's the queens at that don't wear saddles? BMT, yeah, cause black men matters. How you living, yeah, the black man shot. You keep talking, you think the black man flop. Pick your battles and now this black man's out. Now they hate what comes out of black man's mouth. This is my world, we made it, this is my land. Brazil, Colombia, back to Thailand. You can have it with Satan and do the fight dance. While I'm hopping that flight to do my dance. Catching flights, not feelings, it's a battle. So many sleepless nights, not just Seattle. Hey, the black man climbing up the ladder. Passport, no pookie, dibble and dabble. Black man travels.
The black man travels.
All right. What's good, family? We are live, currently coming at you from Thailand. I got my man Auston Holleman. He's going to be on the show today. We're going to be interviewing him about his travels in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. He just got there a couple of months ago, so we're going to chop up with him. He can give us a rundown about Brazil and, is he liking it? Is he feeling the vibe? Did he make the right decision on leaving the States, guys? So we got a real good live interview for you guys today. So we're going to be right back. All right.
No matter where I go, no matter where I be. Rocking it like that, man. I love the fit of this shirt, bro.
Bro, look, I just happened to get out the elevator. Look at it. The BMT shirt on. We representing all the way in Thailand, man.
What's up, y'all? It's the Travel OG, and I got to do my BMT commercial, man, for my BMT shirt, man. This shirt is so dope, man. It shows up your guns, fits your muscles, gives you room at the bottom for the belly, and then you repping the BMT brand, man. So make sure y'all pick up that BMT shirt because it's fire. It looks good. He got them in different colors, and I'm telling y'all, man, the fit, it ain't that cheap. It's a real quality shirt, man. I love it, BMT. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for blessing me with the shirt. And I'll see you on the other side. You dig?
Fellas, don't forget to check out the Black Man Travels merch store where you can purchase BMT t-shirts, tank tops, travel quote tees, and much more.
All right, we live, man. What's going on, family? What's up, Auston?
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, bro. It's funny, man. You was here not too long ago. What was you here about? What was it? 2 months?
6 weeks ago?
It's
7 weeks.
7 weeks. 7 weeks ago. So almost 2 months, man.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me you was going to Brazil, and I was just like, you sure you want to leave? The land of smiles. But let me ask you. Well, let me start from the beginning. Let me go back. For you guys that don't know, I know many of you do. The audience know about Auston Holleman and his, viral stardom. But let's go back further. When you initially first started traveling and you went to Brazil, what was your thoughts when you came back to America? Did you make your plan to leave the States immediately, or was you thinking about, how you were going to put yourself in a position?
I believe when I came back in February, the first time I went to Carnival, I think I knew I just wanted to get out of the United States one day, but I didn't think it would be this soon. The second time is when I said I got to get out of the United States immediately. And that was in May.
Okay, when you went to Brazil, how long was you there the first time?
The first time I was there a week.
Okay, and then is that when you made your decision to leave America, or you still kind of was thinking about it?
That's when I had the decision to leave one day. But when I went back for 2 weeks in May, that's when I said I have to get out of here like as quick as possible. And by October, I was out of there. So
Okay. So how long have you been out of the States then?
I was in Pattaya 2 weeks, so I've been out of the States 9 weeks now.
9 weeks. Okay, so we're gonna get right into it, man. Do you feel like you made the right decision so far?
Absolutely, I won't be going back. I won't be going back no time soon. I had my mind made up back in May, so I've been thinking through the same lens since May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't ever see my mind changing, especially with it being a lot cheaper to live anyway, and I can live a lot better.
Right. So now you was in Thailand a couple of weeks. I mean, you got a little bit, you hung out with us a little bit. You got a little gist of the feel. Do you feel like you live in Thailand as well, or you just strictly in Brazil now?
I couldn't do Thailand. I enjoyed it. I'll be back one day, but I couldn't. No, Brazil is just perfect for me. I couldn't live in Thailand. I can go back to visit though. I will be back to visit.
Okay. And let me give a shout out to the chat. I see you guys in here, man. Shout out to MZG. I believe we played ball together a couple of days ago, man. What's good, bro? Shout out to my dude Yoga. He's in the building. What up, Yoga? I see you out there, man, with the Muay Thai. We got Sauce Boss in the building. We got my dude Travelversity in the building. That's right. I keep thinking it's late, but it's still like evening time here. Shout out to my dude Travelversity in the building. We got the first super chat of the day. We got Hennessy Swole. That's a hell of a YouTube name, man. I like that one though. Hennessy Swole, bro. For the 99 cent super chat, man. I really appreciate that, bro. So you hit the gym and you drink Hennessy. I feel it. I definitely feel it. Shout out to Rand Says, what up, chat? What's good? Jason Lamar in the building. He says, finally got to catch a live. Wow. What's up, peeps? What's good? Somebody said that's David. Oh, bro, you guys be changing your names. That's David. Okay. All right. Hennessy Swole, David. I don't like David. Okay, I got you, bro. Shout out to you, David. David just left here not too long ago. That's what's up, man. We in the building. We are in the building, man. So I got a lot of questions for you, Auston. I got a lot. I got my little list of questions lined up for you, brother. So we're gonna go ahead and jump on right into it. Now, you said you really couldn't live in Thailand per se. You pretty much prefer Brazil, and truth be told, I'm more so of a South American guy myself. I love Colombia. I will be moving back there, at some point. But why do you say that? Why do you say that you can really see yourself living in Thailand like
that? Thailand over Brazil. Well, to be honest, number one, the women, right? I prefer Brazilian women over Thai women any day. Any day.
Mm-hmm.
But the food here in Brazil, I love a lot too. I mean, they have good food in Thailand, but I don't know if you remember me saying that the portions were so small, I had to keep buying seconds. So
yep, that's true.
In Brazil, you actually have to order less food. They give you a lot of food. It's like 4 parts to each meal. So versus Thailand, it wasn't like that. The music here, I like the music a lot better. It's just the whole energy, the beaches. I mean, they have beaches in Thailand too, but I think Brazil's beaches are undefeated.
You know what, bro? You are absolutely right. I 100% agree. I was on the beach. I just passed by the beach today, actually, on my way to immigration. And the beach is so quiet here,
Yeah.
In Brazil, the beaches you can hear the beach from a mile away. It's so loud and vibrant. Everybody's, in bikinis. They smoking out there on the beach. You go to Rosta Beach. It's just all out, just a vibe in Brazil. You can go to the beach all day long. And on the beach here, you can hear a flute from a mile away. Like, it's just so quiet. So that just throws me off a little bit. It's like, it's nice. It's real peaceful. But it's the polar opposite. I don't think anywhere in the world that I know of messes with Brazil and the beach culture, bro.
I would agree. I haven't heard or seen any different.
Most definitely, man. And then I mean, we can't even discuss the bodies that we see on the beach in Brazil. It's amazing.
Nah, yeah. It's mind blowing. Every day is a good day out here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, most definitely. So, where are you at currently in Brazil, bro?
I'm in Salvador, which is like the eastern portion of Brazil.
Okay.
It's summertime all the time out here. Like it's gotten hotter because we actually just came into summer now, so it's like hot, but it's pretty much warm. Like when I got here, it was spring and it was like 90 degrees every day already, but now it's getting hot, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay, and is this your first time in Bahia?
Yes, first time. Fourth time in Brazil, third time.
Okay, let me ask you this: what's the major difference between? Well, let me start with this. Do you enjoy living there in Bahia more so than the time you spent in Rio?
Yeah, because it's cheaper to live here, and I could have spent. It's more expensive in Rio. I could have spent the extra money to live in Rio, but I came here, and I thought Rio was my home, but I came here and I just knew right away. I mean, I had always had a feeling this place would be better than Rio to me. But number one, the danger is a lot. Like I was telling you earlier, the danger is a lot more predictable here. Like you can get robbed anywhere, anything can happen to you anytime, anywhere in the world. But in Bahia, it seems like that danger that you hear about on the statistics is in one area, and the favelas aren't smack dead in the middle of the city here like they are in Rio. If you buy Rio, you're more likely to go if you're going like for 15 minutes, you're gonna go through a favela to just out of the blue, and that's not that safe because that I've heard of some Americans losing their life like that, but in Bahia, it's kind of like Medellin, where the poor areas pretty much surrounding the area, or it's secluded where you won't be just driving through it. There is one favela, I believe, in Baja, but it's not like Rio.
Now, let me ask you this: would you suggest that guys would visit there instead of Rio if they take like a 2-week vacation?
I want y'all to go to Rio first because I don't need too many of y'all down here with me. It's not a lot of Americans down here right now. It's literally when I was in Rio, I went there by myself in November, and I was able to link up with other people. Like it's people in Rio because that's the biggest tourist destination in Brazil. But here, I think, in my opinion, this might be the biggest tourist destination for Brazilians and not foreigners. So only person I know out here is Fred, and then I met a couple of other guys, but other than that, I've been with him every day because, I mean, he's cool. He's cool, but he's also like one of the only ones out here. The other guys, they're kind of a little more secluded and they're a lot older. Not that means anything because I've hung out with older dudes overseas, but it's not a lot of us out here.
Okay. Now, how is the infrastructure in Bahia in comparisons to Rio? Because I know in Rio, the apartments are a little bit more dated. Is it the same in Bahia?
They seem to be newer here.
Okay.
They're not United States new, but they're newer. The city looks a lot nicer when it comes to the high-rise apartments and stuff. So I would say it's newer. Yeah.
Okay, and is it more, because I'm not really familiar with the area, is it kind of more like a metro city or is it more spread out? Like, for instance, in Baja de Juca, it reminds me of Orlando more so. But when I go to Copacabana, I feel like I'm in Miami or something. Like, what's the layout there in Salvador?
I would say it's similar to Miami.
Okay.
It's not like being in Orlando. That's a good question, actually. It's kind of spread out. It's kind of spread out, yeah. Yeah, I would say it's more so spread out, but that's a really hard question because I don't know. I guess the city's just pretty big, but I mean, you can pretty much walk everywhere. Everything's pretty close. I would say it's more like Miami.
Okay. And as far as transportation, is it the same as in Rio out there? You pretty much use Uber?
Yeah, you can Uber. I don't think I'd ride the bus here.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, man. As far as the mentality, we're just talking with the people. Then, of course, I know guys want to hear about the women. But as far as the people out there, are they a little bit more different than the ones that you encounter in Rio? As far as like social, are they sociable or are they a little bit nicer?
I would say they're pretty much the same, but they are a little nicer. I mean, I think I've noticed. No, I'm not. I take that back. I was about to say something that was wrong. They're open just like they are in Rio, but it seems like being a foreigner here, since they don't see as many, they're a lot more friendly. And I know it's the same thing in Recife. There's not a lot of foreigners there too, so they're a lot more nice. But Recife is not. No, Recife, don't go there for your first time.
Okay.
But Salvador, you can come here for your first time, but I think everybody should start in Rio.
Okay. And as far as your Portuguese, are there any people that speak American and out there, or it's just you got to really build your Portuguese game?
There's people out here that speak English, but you'll run into way more in Rio than here. I think in Rio, I think I said before it was like 20%, 30% of people you run into might know English. Versus here, it's like 5 to 10%.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna run into a lot of English here.
All right. Now I gotta ask you, play, because what the guys want to know: are the women different out there than they are in Rio? Because we know Rio. For guys that don't know, it's like it's kind of a wild hookup culture out there in Rio. Big city vibe. You go on dates, go off Tinder and all that. Is it the same out there, or is it a little bit more laid
back? For the most part, it's the same, but it's more laid back. Because I'm saying it's the same because I'm comparing to United States, but it's a little more laid back. Like in Rio, it seems like as far as hooking up, if you don't sleep with them the first night, you will the second night, or like the second interaction you see. Versus here, you might get their number. I mean, there's plenty of chicks. There's chicks everywhere you can hook up with first night, but you're gonna get their number, and it seems like 2 or 3 days later you might see them again on average.
Okay. And is the Tinder game popping out there, or they use something else?
My Tinder didn't start working until I got here. Like nowhere in the world did my Tinder work till I got to Salvador. Ever. Not in the United States, not Thailand, Colombia, or Rio.
So when you pulled up there, you started meeting women off Tinder?
Yeah. I pretty much for the first time in my life. I mean, I've met people on Tinder before, but I don't know what it is. But it didn't start actually working until I got here. But there's a lot more games out here now. Maybe it's because I'm living here. It's not games like it's nothing for me to get on the internet and complain about like I do American women. It's not that. But I am noticing that how easy it was in Rio. It's not as easy, but it's nothing for me to get on the internet and complain about. It seems like a normal dating game. Like you're not going to win every time, but it's not like the States where you just run into BS left and right.
Okay, so that's a good segue. Let me ask you this, man. What's some major differences in American women and Brazilian women that kind of just stands out the most?
So I was sitting with, I don't know if you ever seen her in your comments. She's pretty much on all the Passport Bros videos. Her name is Millie Nunes. I actually met her last night. She's a Brazilian that speaks fluent English, which is usually a red flag, but with her, she seems to have her head all right. What's a major difference? I mean, pretty much everything is going to be, different as far as being in shape. I mean, statistics can show that, but I mean, we can just look around us and tell that the Brazilian women okay, I'm gonna say this too. Salvador is killing. I mean, Rio has a lot of women that's beautiful and in shape everywhere you go, but here it's like it's unbelievable. Like it's literally unbelievable how many ridiculously beautiful and in shape women there. It's literally unbelievable. I can't stress it enough. But in the United States, I haven't been anywhere. Even, people brag about Miami all the time. I've had 12-hour layovers in Miami, and I don't see what they're talking about. I mean, here and there, you might see a beautiful woman, but for the way how I brag about Brazil, they come here, and, they'll forget about Miami. Miami just doesn't have anything on any city in Brazil. Even in Recife, and I wouldn't recommend Recife, but even Recife is killing Miami, if you ask me. The attitudes, like as far as them being feminine, like they don't put their finger all in your face. They don't call you out your name. Even the ones that are a red flag that speak English, they don't do that. American women are just they're in their own box. And I think everywhere else in the world, the women are nothing like them, just for the most part. They're natural here. Here. I've never been around. I don't think I've heard people say that, oh, there's people in Brazil that wear weave. It's not common. Okay, I've been here 7 weeks. It may be here when they got some braids in their head, or here and there, but even the chicks with nappy hair seem to be figuring out a way, which there aren't many of those either. They got like a mixed race down here, so there's not really very many nappy headed women down here. So I guess maybe that's the reason why women in the States wear weave. I don't know. Don't care.
You know what though, man? Because that's very true. You said that. I think that the women pretty much have the same hair. It's just that in America, they start manipulating their hair at such a young age that it kind of, it messes up the roots and everything like that. But when you go to Brazil, you see that the sisters are rocking their naturals everywhere. To me, it's almost amazing. Like we went to what's that club in Rio, in Madureira?
Casa Black Rio.
Yeah, Casa Black Rio. You see all the sisters with their afros out. You just like, what? What have y'all been doing in the States? Like, why are y'all wearing? Why are y'all wearing wigs and weaves? And when you do see a woman with a weave or wig in Brazil, it's like trash. They don't even know how to do it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because they're not really used to having them on. It doesn't look as good as the girls wear in the States. That's for sure. Like, you look like a little dusty ass hood weave that they put down in Brazil. So most girls wear their natural hair. Shout out to Think Like the 1%. I like that name too, bro. With $1.99 super chat. He made your quote. He said, "Is that bad?"
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna say too, those afros that you're talking about, you've seen over there. I haven't seen like a really big one out there in Rio yet. I've seen fros, but not a really big one. Hold on one second. But the over here in Salvador, I've seen women with like the fros that literally come way out here, and I've seen that 3 times. But I see the fro. It's everywhere. It's like you're consistently seeing those afros. So it's definitely a lot more black people out here, a lot more natural blacks out here. It's plenty of white folks too out here, but they're definitely out there.
Let's talk about that. Like, what is the racial makeup out there in Salvador? Is it like you see way more black people than white, or is it kind of mixed?
Yeah, there's like the black people are everywhere compared to Rio. Like all over the beach, if you go to the beach on a Sunday or any day, like 60 to 80% of the women there are gonna be black. Okay. And usually white chicks here are from another city. But I would say I was gonna bring this up too. I don't know. It's just the experience with the women here is completely different. You were talking about comparing the women from here in the States. It's just way more pleasant, of an experience with the women here. It's if you don't go home with them, you're not just, in the States. I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure you do know. If you don't take a chick home in the States, you feel like you got cheated. Versus here, if you don't sleep with her the first night, she was so enjoyable to be around. You can wait till that next time. There's a difference. There's a difference when it comes to the experience. So, yeah, no, the 2 women American women don't stand a chance against Brazilian women at all, any day.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that in Rio, some of the women are pretty much used to running into foreigners. They're used to running into Americans, but out there in Salvador, they're not as used. Do they have a general perception of Americans already? Did they tell you like how they feel about Americans, or they just interested to learn more about your culture?
A few of them, a very small percentage of them seem to be like, You know, like, oh, they think of that typical tourism that Americans are known for. But for the most part, they're interested because they don't see so many. They're just like a older white woman running into a 20-year-old black dude. You know, they want to just hold on to you almost, just like that. If you know what I mean, like a cougar would almost. I've had a lot of women tell me, like, I've never been with a gringo before. I just really want to get to know you. Like, yeah, you don't get that so much in Rio. I mean, you might run into a chick in Rio that hasn't been with an American, but not like in Salvador, because it's not. They're not coming. Americans aren't coming here like that.
I want to give a shout out to Mr. Travolta. $20. Well, that might be a British pound, I think. Appreciate that, man. Shout out to you. He says, tip to get your money up. Every time a girl flakes out on you, invest the same amount of money you would have spent on the date into yourself, into business, stocks, etc. You will see how quickly it adds up. Focus on your mission. I definitely agree with that. That's a very valid point. You know, so is there a lot? Because I know in Colombia, Medellin, I mean, the women flake on you like a mug. But when you finally link up with them, it's always a pleasurable experience. But do they flake on the guys that are a lot out there?
When I was in Colombia, I got more women that were late as opposed to flaking. But here, if you set up a date and time, they'll be late. More than likely. You know, I've heard that they're on time, but the ones I've ran into, they've been late for the most part. But they're about it when they show. They're everything you could ask for, pretty much. Yeah, I love it out
here. And I saw you in a couple of photos. I should have pulled them up, but I saw you in a couple of photos. I think you was on the beach out there. Are the women approachable on the beach, and you just approach them, or like how do you interact with women on the beach?
So I got a rule that I've been following out here that pretty much if they don't look, there's pretty much no point in approaching them. I know in the States you need a cold approach. In other places you may need a cold approach, but cold approaching in Salvador, I would say in Brazil in general, but Salvador, it's kind of pointless. You know, if they want you, they'll show you. They're not gonna hide it. I can have more success than anybody would ever have in the States because there's enough women sending choosing signals here all day. You can just walk down the street, and even the guy that I'm being his tour guide, the guy Floyd that everybody talked bad about when I brought out here, he gets choosing signals. Well, he does a lot of approaching. He does a lot of cold approaching. He still gets a lot of numbers. So you just got to be able to. Yeah, you just got to come out here. That's all you got to do.
Okay. And when you approach, man, I guess you got to know that Portuguese. They're not going to understand any English, right? Or do you have your translator? I know you speak a little Portuguese, but just say in general.
In general, they're not going to understand English. The translator will work. It's not going to work like it would in Rio. In Rio, they got a lot more patience for a translator, but you're not going to hold on to them for too long without knowing Portuguese. You're not going to get too far.
Okay. Now I was watching a live with you, and I want to say I don't know if you was in Rio or you had already made it out to Salvador, and you had a girl there. I think she said she was a feminist or something like that. She had mentioned. Is that big out there as well? Is the feminism kind of growing out there in Brazil?
Was she a young girl? And you did a review on that video, right?
Yes, sir. I sure did. Yep.
Yeah, that girl. She it's not big out here. It's not big like it is in the States, but the chicks that you do run into that are feminists, they almost 100% of the time speak English. Almost 100% of the time. That's how they consume the propaganda in the first place. Second, those women are like 60% American. Like they behave. That's why when people complain about it's feminism out here, it's tolerable for the most part. It's compared to the States. You ask me, those women you can't tolerate them at all. But here it's tolerable. I still wouldn't deal with it because why would I deal with it when there's so many women that don't act like that here?
Okay. I want to give a shout out to my dude Joe in the building. What up, Joe? He was out here with me for a little minute, man. Can't wait till you get back out here to Thailand. He was also linked up in Rio as well. So let's talk about a little bit of the nightlife out there in comparison to Rio. Now, because me and you never was actually in Rio together. But when I was in Rio, because I was living there before I moved here to Thailand, we'll go out, we'll leave the house at probably around 10, we'll get back to 6 a.m. the next morning. Wild nights all the time. Is it similar out there, or is it more like, it's not like that per se?
The nightlife here destroys Rio's nightlife daily.
What?
Daily.
Whoa! Hold on now. You gotta explain that one.
So I stay in Rio de Mayo, right? There's two main, tourist areas that everybody's at, which is Baja and Rio de Mayo. During the daytime, I wouldn't be in Rio de Mayo, but I would go to Baja. Like if I want to go out right now at 8 in the morning, I can go to Baja. There's people at the beach already. I can go over there. Of course, not packed, but by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it'd be packed. But I could go to Baja, and I'd be at Baja all the way until about 6 o'clock. And then go from 6 o'clock to my neighborhood, Rio de Mayo, and it's pretty much going all the way until like 7 in the morning. There's going to be something going on until about 7 in the morning here.
What?
Yeah, they have 24-hour restaurants near me. It's 3 of them, and they're open 24 hours. And there's people out there. There's nobody out there really right now. You might see 4 or 5 people on the patio. But once about 5 or 6 o'clock rolls around, there's a lot of people there. And usually by 11 o'clock at night, there's nowhere to sit at those restaurants. And there's loud music playing and all that. Versus Rio, I was there in May. And May was their version of winter. And pretty much if I didn't have a date set up some nights, I was just going to have to sit in the house or just, figure out something. Versus here, it's always something to get into.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I know this is like a harsh comparison, but you went out a lot out here in Thailand. We went out a couple of times together. Is the nightlife wilder here or there where you at in Salvador? I know it's a big difference, right? Because you was in Asia, you in South America, but just in general, because it's a wild ass nightlife here as well.
I'm still gonna have to give it to Salvador. Maybe that might be a preference thing. Now there's nothing like Soy 6, there's nothing like that here.
Right.
But that's strictly for that city that you in. But off of preference, I'm still gonna have to go with Salvador.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's almost it's not just cheap. I take it. It's a lot cheaper than Rio, but you can eat like I leave the gym. I go to this restaurant next to the gym. And I can eat a full meal for like $4, which is close to Thailand.
Facts.
As far as price
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a second, man. Like, what's the? Because I know you did your research. What's the general cost of like a nice 1-bedroom out there?
Right now, the 1-bedroom I'm staying in, I can hear and see the beach, and mine comes with a daily maid. It was fully furnished when I got it. There is a laundry service. I thought it was included, but they wash your clothes for you downstairs and call you when they're done and fold them up and everything. But that altogether is about 3,000 reais a month, which is about $560.
That's not bad at all.
Versus in Rio, that would be like probably $1,400 or $1,500, I think, to be able to hear and see the beach and have the maid and all that. About at least 1,000. It'd be at least 1,000 in Rio, at least.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And Rio, actually, the prices have went up as of recent, from what I'm hearing, because my dude, International Zoe, was down there not too long ago, and he was kind of complaining about how the prices had just got jacked up in Rio and Copacabana in that particular area. So that's crazy, man. That is crazy. Hold on, real quick. I got shout out to Domo Worldwide. He says, "Do you run into the same people since Bahia is smaller?" I guess he's saying, "Do you run into the same, crowd?"
90% of the people I see every day I've never seen.
Okay. I got another question here for you. It's funny, man, because I was excited for you, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was super excited. I kind of say we had somewhat of a similar journey. Well, it took me a while to put myself in the position, but I was traveling a lot. Like, excuse me. My first time in Brazil was 2017. I was there for 10 days. Had the time of my life. Didn't know I was going to live in Colombia first, but I was like, man, I got to get up out of America because I just had such a good time. I enjoyed the culture. I enjoyed the people. And of course, I enjoyed the beach. And when I initially left in November of 2020, I didn't even know that much about Colombia like that, to be honest with you. I went to Colombia. I went to Medellin for like 3 weeks, and I was like, I gotta do it. It's just the time is right. You know what I'm saying? I got to go ahead and make that transition. End up going back to America for 1 week. Got everything together. Sold all my, sold my house, sold all my stuff. Then moved to Medellin. And in that time frame, I had a few moments where I was like, "Oh man, damn!" You know what I'm saying? I can't believe I'm doing this. Have you had that realization come to you yet? Like, wow, damn, I'm actually in another country. Like, has it hit you yet, or you still kind of like it hasn't just quite set in just yet?
The first 2 or 3 weeks of being in, I mean, it happened when I felt like I was on vacation when I was over there with you. But when I took a one way from there to here, that's when it kind of hit me like, damn, I'm not going back. And then I stayed here for about 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks, I kept thinking I was on some sort of time limit. Like, okay, I got to try to do this, try to do that. I'm only here for this long. It took me a while, about 2 or 3 weeks to realize, like, damn, I'm not going nowhere. Like,
right.
This lifestyle is like a daily vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I fully realized that, like, I can go to Recife and I'm coming right back to the same city in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hit me now. That's why I'm not going back.
Right. Do you miss anything about? Because people ask me this all the time, and I would say, of course, I miss my family, and I miss the food too. Because Atlanta got some dope ass food, especially for my family. Do you miss anything about America though?
No, just my family.
Zero.
Yeah, just family, and close friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Other than that, nah. I don't miss the food. The food here has changed my, overall energy, the glow on my skin from being on the beach every day, the cost of living. No.
It seemed like overseas is less of a grind, right? Like, because you make American dollars, you don't have to work as hard because the cost of living is low, which means you have the time to be able to go out and enjoy yourself and participate in this new culture, right? You're learning a new language, you're meeting new people, you're meeting different types of people. It's almost like, to me, when I moved to Medellin, I was 39, I think. And it's like I went back in time to 25 again, because everything is new now. Like you just mentioned it, the food, everything is new, And I tell people all the time, listen, you're gonna have your ups and downs overseas. I try my best not to make overseas be like, it's just picture perfect, golden arches and a golden road, and there's beautiful women everywhere. You're not gonna have any issues. No, you're still gonna be living your life. You're still gonna have your ups and downs, but because you were privileged enough to make, American money, especially if you're a digital nomad or you're retired, you're from the military or whatever your financial situation is, you're much, much better off living overseas because in America, it's just so rush. I tell people all the time, man, and me and Andre from Love Crossing Boys talk about this as well. I say, man, I'll make $40,000 a year overseas. I'd rather do that than make $100,000 in the States.
Yeah. Yes.
Would you agree with that, or?
Yeah, you can. For the lifestyle I'm living right now, I would only need to make $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Yeah, about $3,000 to $4,000 a month because I can cover all my bills as far as if I wanted to grocery shop. I haven't cooked since I've been over here. I mean, I cooked when I did the little grocery store video. I don't think I've cooked since then. That was like a month ago. I came to a realization that there's no point if I can go eat a meal for $4 and I can eat out 3 times a day. There's no point in me cooking. And yeah, all those bills as far as rent, Ubers, you can live you can survive off of about $1,500 and the rest could be all party money, clothes, whatever. Yeah, $3,000 to $4,000. Yeah, that's nothing in the States, but here that's everything.
That's very true. I just watched a video not too long ago of this. He was an older gentleman, and he was living off a budget of $833 a month out here in Thailand. It's possible.
Wow.
You know, I don't recommend it. I knew a guy in Rio that was living off of, I think he said $1,200 a month. It's, you know, like I said, I don't recommend it. You know, and these gentlemen happen to be a little older as well, so they might not go out as much. But I mean, it's possible. Now, I'm not trying to recommend and motivate guys who don't have it together to come out there with a couple $1,000s. Make sure you have some income coming in. But I'm just saying that the cost of living is a whole lot more reasonable than it is in America. In America, man, the prices is going up on everything. All right. So let me catch this super chat real quick, man. By Mr. Travolta again. I think that's British pound, if I'm not mistaken. He says, what do you guys think of dating coaches? I used to read The Mystery Method, a famous game book when I was younger. The truth is, Western women like to play games. You don't need game. It's that bad. All right. Do you want to say anything about the dating coaches? I know we had, I had plenty of videos about, dating coaches. What's your thoughts on dating coaches?
They're not needed in Brazil. I mean, in Brazil, you just need a level of common sense. You know, that the stuff that dating coaches, the whole red pill thing comes natural over here because when you're around, see, dudes need red pill information in the States because they're not bumping into as many beautiful women in the States as they would here. So them, the whole, wait 4 hours for this, or don't text her too much, or don't give her too much of this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that over here anyway. But it's too many of them. I mean, the whole don't ever chase behind her. If she, she says she wants to leave you, don't chase behind her. Why would I? I mean, in Brazil, why would I? Why would I chase behind you? If you, man, let me tell you, I told this story already. I had a chick, the three of us, we were walking in Baja, and I was waiting on this chick from Tinder. And while I was looking for her, there's this group of chicks, and there's one of them that's like giving me a strong choosing signal. So I go up to her and approach her. I ask her, we talk, and I ask her for a number. And she's like, no, I can give you my Instagram. And I said, Instagram is for kids. I'm not gonna take your Instagram. That's no, I didn't ask you for that. And she's like, yeah, well, you take my Instagram. I was like, so you're not gonna give me a number, just your Instagram. She's like, yeah. I said, okay, it was nice meeting you. And I walked off. And she seemed kind of jaw drop. I guess she's not used to dudes walking off on her, which is hard to believe in Brazil. Because I heard Brazilian men act the same way. And I went and got the chick from Tinder, and I played a game. So I brought her, and I walked right in front of her with the other chick. And the other chick, I had to leave her alone too, because she didn't look as good as she did online, but she looked good enough for me to pull this move. And so I walked back and then left her over there because I didn't like her. And came back, and the chick was like, oh, come here. I'll give you my number now. That's something a dating coach would teach you. But that's natural here. I didn't have to actually think of that, really. That was just natural.
Okay.
All those things they teach you, you have to be taught because there's not as many beautiful women in the States as there are in these other countries. Especially.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the biggest adjustments I had to make. And Travelversity can tell you, when I first got to Thailand, leaving Brazil, I'm just used to seeing a massive amount of beautiful, exotic-looking women. And don't get me wrong, Tyler not no slouch in the category of beautiful women either. But Brazil, and I try to tell guys, I'm like, listen, man, I don't think it's anywhere in the world like Brazil and Colombia, personally. Maybe it is in some parts of Africa and Europe. I get it. But leaving those countries, it's like going from the LA Lakers or something, you know what I'm saying, down to some little Euro league. It's just not, it's really hard to even compare, man. That amount of concentrated, beautiful women that know how to exude their feminine, you know what I'm saying, energy on you, which makes it more drawing to American men who are not used to it. That's why a lot of American guys get caught up so quickly. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I tell guys all the time, like, listen, man, if you don't live there, or you can't be one of those guys, like my dude Jay Clyde, who's in, you know, I don't know why he ain't got an apartment out there yet. I'm up there. I need to, you know, but you know, he's in Medellin like twice a month or something like that, right? You know, they can have long-term relationships where they can kind of see if the women are being genuine with. But if you one of them guys that travel 2-3 times a year, you know, and you start sending her money, you don't want to get caught up in that. Because you know it's a dangerous circle, because they'll have 4-5 different American men sending them money. Shout out to my dude Jay Clyde.
It does happen.
Yeah, shout out to E-Dub. He made the right point. He says it's sensory overload here in Rio.
Yeah,
it's amazing, man. And you're absolutely right. I recognize that about maybe South America in general. Let me switch this up real quick. But you're right. You don't have to cold approach as much.
No.
Now, I cold approach every now and then when I'm like, you know, when I was in Colombia and every now, you know, because the women in Colombia are a little bit more shy, I think. But it's just a different situation altogether. But give me 1 second, bro. Give me 1 second. Apologies, family. We back to set some things up real quick. All right, man. So we've been at it for a little minute. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. I know it's kind of early morning. You gotta get your day started out there. Get there in Rio. It's the evening time here. But I'm gonna play a little bit of the devil's advocate before we go. All right. You know, I like to kind of spice it up a little bit and ask you some of the narratives that some of the haters are trying to put out there. You know. So let me hold on. Let me see. Okay, I thought that was a troll. I was trying to get a troll out of the building. He's not in there. All right. Yeah. So some people would say that, you know, guys are going over there overseas in Rio. They're just immaculated by the women, and they're just looking to hook up and take advantage of the women because they're desperate and they're poor, and they see a rich American. What would you say to that?
They're idiots, and they haven't been anywhere. That's why they say that. Anybody that says that they're all poor here is an idiot. Literally. That's dumb. How is everybody going to be poor? Do you think the president stays in the favela too? I mean, you know, that those are I don't get it when people say that kind of stuff, but you know, they can think what they want. I mean, I'm out here, you know, I'm 23, so I'm not settling down yet. I found somebody that I think in the near future I would settle down with, but in the meantime, we're just seeing each other for right now, and she knows that. Yeah, I'm out here hooking up, and you know, what are you gonna do about it?
Okay, and what about when people say, "Oh, they're uneducated"? What would you say to that? Like, well, you're just taking advantage of them because they're uneducated women.
When we want to talk about education, we can go down to the basic education. American women, in general, don't even know how to fry an egg.
Okay.
So we can before we even get to the books, let's talk about that. Their educated enough to know how to cook here. Just about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Versus in the States, no. The States is a fast food culture.
You know what? I will say, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I will say that might be more of a generational thing because I would say my generation of women know how to cook. You know, they might not cook as much as they, but now, because you're much younger than me, I can see that. I can see that because when I left, it was definitely more of a Uber Eats type of thing now. It used to be, okay, babe, I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna cook you something, or you come over here and I got a meal for you. Because of the stress of everybody working so much, I think now America definitely has a fast food culture more so, especially with the arrival of Uber Eats now. So I will say that.
I mean, as far as I would agree. As far as like education, like college, of course, America might have a better, college system, but I don't think I've ran into too many dumb women out here. They know a lot more geography. They know a lot more all the basic education than I don't know. I don't know. People think that these people out here just in tiki dresses and still cooking with fire, and that's just not true at all. Some people think that there's not malls in these other countries.
That's very true. That's very true. Now let me ask you this, man. Some people might say that, okay, you passport bros are the only reason you guys are traveling are to date the whiter Latina women or something like that. Like you don't want to date, women that look like you. What would you say to that?
Well, let me just show you something.
Uh-oh.
Let me go ahead and pull it
on the screen.
Yeah, give me just a second. Because I bumped into this chick at the beach, and it was one of the most interesting, and I liked it. She wasn't available. She had a boyfriend, but I still had to take a picture with her. Let me go ahead and share my screen right here. So this is how dark they'll get out of here in Bahia. And that's a black woman.
Okay.
This is another one. She's not white. But you know what? These people will go so far. I posted women like this in the first interview I did out here in Bahia. And there's a black woman. Oh, she's so stupid. She's in the comments she's like, let's be honest. You only you date black women, but you only favor the light skin. So okay, I can't win either way it goes. If they're not the darkest piece of charcoal, it doesn't count. Apparently, apparently it doesn't count. They're not as dark as my shorts.
Yeah, man. And I made this comment. Somebody made a comment on one of my videos. They were saying that black men are trying to leave and date these whiter complected women, and I was like, no, that's not true. Most of the black men that I interact with, unless they're in Asia or something, they're in South America and the Caribbean dating Afro women. They're just like, oh, that's not true. You lying. You cap. You all cap. I'm like, I'm out here. I'm seeing this with my own two eyes. The whole narrative that, oh, you guys are all colorists. I'm like, man, we don't even think like that. Like it was most times, and I think honestly speaking, I think a lot of black men do prefer dark skinned women. Honestly speaking, not all, but a lot.
I think black is beautiful, and I usually go for black first. I mean, this is supposed to be the blackest city in South America. I've heard the word. I don't know how true it is, but it's definitely the blackest in South America and all of Brazil. So, I mean, if I wanted white women, I would have stayed in Recife, or I would have went to south of Brazil and down there with them Germans and those Italians. I would have went over there. I didn't pick that.
Facts. People are very ignorant to the fact that South America, in particular Brazil, has more Afro people than in America. Like they don't know that.
Yeah, I love all women though. I love all women, but I go for black women primarily.
I remember when Quincy Jones had made a quote. This is a long time ago. He made a quote. He was just like, as a man, he was like, man, it's okay to have a preference, but a beautiful woman is a beautiful woman, regardless of what what she is. I got a super chat here from the Dress Code Initiative, the $5 super chat. You got with these YouTube names, man. With that type of YouTube name, you got to go live. You got to see what you rocking, bro. You better be coming with a suit or something. But he says, Auston, in your last live, he said you literally described the women there as easy, poor, and unworthy of a real dating effort. Now, I didn't see your last live, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, he just made all that up. But I can't take anybody serious with that name with no profile picture. So I don't even think
Exactly. I'm sitting here like, bro, you gotta come on now. You gotta be with the suits and the ties if you got that type of name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, man, we have reached the hour. We got stuff to do, man. I appreciate you coming on. And salute to you, Auston, man. Like you came out here, man. You linked up. We had a ball. We had a good time. I hate to see you had left, but I understand you're on your journey. You was on your way to Brazil, man. And I'll be in South America back soon, man. I might not be in Brazil, though. But, in South America, it's a quick hop to Colombia and back and forth and all that, man. Mm-hmm. Definitely got to link up sometime, man.
Absolutely. Let me know when you make it out here.
I'm coming out there to holler at you, too. You can't keep by it to yourself now, brother.
Yeah, just make sure you tell everybody to go to Rio first, though. Let them crowd up Rio and then come here afterwards, because this is a great city. I love the city.
You know what's funny, bro? And I put it in the Passport Bros group too. I said, if you got some hidden cities, let us know. Like, because I was crabbing myself. So I told them my hidden gem was Santiago and Dominican Republic, which was a little cap, but everybody started putting their cities in, right? Mm-hmm. And I got so many friends of mine that don't want me to tell people like, hey, bro, don't blow this city up. Don't blow this area up. Don't blow this area up. I'm like, nah, I can blow it up. But I feel what you're saying because it's not a situation where it's too many bros. It ain't that. It's just Americans in general change the general dynamics of an area. Like we change it. We change the dating scene. We change the prices. Medellin is skyrocketing right now as far as the real estate. Right. Same thing as Rio, because a lot of Americans are becoming digital nomads. A lot of jobs after COVID are keeping them online. They're like, listen, we don't got to maintain no building no more and office staff. We just have to work from their laptop. So a lot more Americans are, traveling more. And because of that, we change the dynamics. Really more so the financial dynamic more so than anything. But also the dating dynamics. Reason behind it. And I'm going to give you a prime example before we go. I had a friend of mine. I was in the favela. I was in Rocinha. Right? And my friend had took one of the women out there shopping. No big deal in my eyes. But my other dude, who's Brazilian, he was getting at him. He was like, man, why you take her shopping outside of the favela? You're going to take her and buy some stuff, keep her in the favela. Don't take her here and there. And my other guy was like, man, ain't a big deal. But in my head, I'm like, nah, man, you breaking a masculine code here. He's telling you, like, look, listen, man, because what the Brazilian girl did was when she came in, that's what she did, Auston. When she came in the apartment, she started showing off her dresses to all the other girls. She was spinning around. She was like, yeah, look what he bought me and everything. And they know, the Brazilian guys know that's going to infect the other girls. So that's why they was kind of low key in a real nice way, in a jokey way. Like, nah, bro, you don't do that. We go take her shopping. Take her shopping here and support the economy here. Don't take her outside, because now she's bringing, dresses from Louis Vuitton and all this other stuff. So that's real. And that's what I mean by Americans inadvertently change the dynamics. And that's what a lot of guys don't want, Yeah. So I get it. As a matter of fact, I got another little hidden gem that's not too far from here. And guys hit me up all the time about it. Just like, hey, man, what's up with Cambodia? I'm like, nah, Cambodia trash. Don't go. It's terrible. I hate it. Yeah. So I definitely understand that, man. Definitely understand that. Well, all right, fellas. Once again, appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to say before we end this?
Again, don't go to Recife for your first trip. Mm-hmm. Come to Rio the first time and then go to Salvador Bahia for the second time. Make sure you go to Rio at least 3 or 4 times. We don't need y'all out there. We don't need y'all flooding because y'all gonna love it out here. We don't need y'all loving it right away. Love Rio first.
See, all right. Hey, me and Travelversity are gonna be out there the next week. Hey, real quick, bro. Real quick. I got one more question for you. All right, Medellin, Salvador Bahia, Pataya Tower. Where would you rank them before we go?
Salvador. Honestly, I would do Salvador, Pataya, and then Medellin.
Whoa! Wow, you put Medellin last. Okay.
I had a better time, and I had a really good time in Medellin, but I had a better time in Pataya than Medellin. Maybe it's because it was more American, so it was just kind of like it almost felt like we was on a field trip out there. Right. It was so many dudes that was from the same country. It felt like we was on a field trip, but it was more in Medellin, to be honest. But Medellin had too many foreigners there.
Right. Facts. That's facts. Well, all right, man. Once again, man, appreciate you coming through. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.